Morena 3i, and welcome to Monday morning. Monday morning, week 4, gents. So take a look, please, at the screen in front of you. I'm giving you a heads up that this time of the term, I always start thinking about attitude and effort grades for reports. And early next week, I will be starting to enter these marks into your report templates. A number of you are repeatedly not completing any work, or at least not completing the work that you are set each day. And it's very clear who you are. I can see who you are from the quizzes and the other online work that I set. And you need to know that this lack of you completing things will be reflected in your report, unless you have emailed me to explain that you are struggling with something, or if you've given me some indication as to why you can't finish work. Many of you are doing that really well. So I'm just letting you know that I'll be putting those in at the beginning of next week. So you've got this week to improve your performance if you are concerned and interested in getting a decent attitude and effort mark on your report for the end of the year. So I just want to look at these tasks for today. The online learning checklist. Last Friday, I actually put that down on the GrammarNet page rather than as a link. So it's always going to be down here now. These are our lessons here. This is our quizzes, and the links are down the right-hand side, and that checklist is there. All right, and it will always be updated. And so you can make sure, those of you who have got behind, you can make sure that you know what is going on. And that's particularly important this week and next, because these are our last 2 weeks before we have exams. So we're starting week 4 today, and your exams begin in week 6. So we've just got this week and next week to prepare. So everything that I give you is relevant to your exams. And the first thing that we're going to be doing this week is completing our poetry study on our 2 poems. And tomorrow I will be starting a lesson on the essay writing. But today we're just going to go over the second poem and those questions I set you. So you're already doing this. You're watching the screencast lesson. And I did ask you to have your exercise book handy because we're going to be marking those questions. So if you don't have it handy, could you pause the video right now and get your book out? Find your answers to the questions that were up on the GrammarNet page. Right, keeping on going. On Friday, there was a static image visual features quiz on GrammarNet, and there it is. That's what you should have completed on Friday. Most of you did, some of you did not. And I did ask that you would keep going with it, do it again until you get 13 out of 15, because you can learn that way. And this is what I want you to look at today, is the verbal features, the way you actually use the words and the language in static image, because we do need to get that knowledge into your mind as we prepare for your exam, because you will have a static image comprehension to do. Great. And finally, on this list of today's tasks, don't forget our Zoom class at 11 on Wednesday as normal. Okay, so let's go now to our poetry, our poem, the second poem, and the answers I've put them down here, and you should be able to see them on GrammarNet as well. I'm not going to read it again. We talked last week about the repetition and the persona in this, and who is the speaker. So let's just look at these answers. The speaker or persona is a little girl who's determined not to give in to her fears. She obviously has quite a few things that she's scared about, but she doesn't want to give in to them. Why does the speaker repeat the refrain? Now, a refrain is just a repeated tag, and often you get in a pop song, you'll have a refrain, which is the chorus, which is the same words that come back and they are repeated. So that's what a refrain is. Why do you think she says it so many times, and how many times is it said? So it's said 10 times. some form of they don't frighten me at all, or life doesn't frighten me at all, is repeated 10 times, and that's not including the title. So the title, Life Doesn't Frighten Me, which doesn't have the at all bit, would be number 11. So I hope you got that, you counted those correctly. So repetition, we talked about this at our Zoom call last week, is used by writers to emphasize particular ideas or points. If you say it more than once, it jumps out at you. It gets emphasized. In this poem, repeating the refrain 10 times has the effect of both highlighting the little girl's determination to confront her fears. Life doesn't frighten me at all. She says it so many times, very strongly. She's determined to confront those fears, but it does suggest, because she has to say it so many times, that she's having to work hard not to be scared. She does actually have these fears, but she's confronting them. Now, what type of rhyme is used throughout the poem? So one or two of you correctly told me that I hadn't put the link up for the terminology sheet on Friday. So I'm going to show you where you can find these things. On the GrammarNet page, we're back on the GrammarNet page, at the bottom there is a folder there on poetry, and the poetry terminology, all the things that you might have to know about in your exam, is there permanently. Okay, so let's have a look at rhyme, sound patterns. So a full rhyme is when two rhyming words begin with a different consonant sound, then have the same vowel sound and end with the same consonant sound. Night, delight. So because we've got a, delight, the night sound, the vowel I, that's the same, identical. And the final consonant, the T, the night, delight. We call that a full rhyme. Half rhymes are when they're not quite in that same pattern. I can't remember whether I was speaking to you about this last week or whether I did it with the other class. I think it might have been you. So I've already gone over that. So let's just have a look and see what kind of rhymes we are dealing with in our poem. Are they full rhymes or what are they? Here we go. Wall, hall, loud, cloud. Are they full rhymes? Yes. So the answer to that question is full rhymes all the way through. Okay. I'm going to write that in. No, I won't bother. Oh, yes, I will. Full rhymes, but I haven't got it made red, but I will do that later. Full rhymes, or maybe I'll do it right now. Full rhymes. Okay. Find an example of alliteration in the poem. So this is something that helps us be catchy. It's pleasant to listen to. Sometimes it can be used for emphasis. Lions on the loose, panthers in the park. So those sounds, alliteration is when you use the same consonant sound at the beginning of the word. So what is the main theme or idea expressed in this poem? Well, it is that by bringing out into the open so many things and experiences the little girl is potentially frightened of, she's able to overcome her fears. Sometimes when we're scared of something, it can keep us trapped and unable to grow or get over that fear because we don't actually talk about it or we don't actually confront it. But the poet of this poem believes that actually if we confront our fears, we can overcome them. If we know we're scared of something, we look at that thing and we think, okay, that's that. I can still get over that. I can succeed to be not scared or to cope with that. Then we will be able to. Finally, what do you think is meant by the magic charm which the speaker keeps up her sleeve, and how does this relate to the main idea? So the magic charm, let's just have a look at that sentence, that stanza again. I've got a magic charm that I keep up my sleeve. I can walk the ocean floor and never have to breathe. So I think this magic charm could represent something that the speaker can rely on to get herself through every scary situation. Maybe this is her strong determination to be brave and not let herself be defeated by her fears. Maybe this magic charm, her courage, is something which enables her to become invincible in a way. So nothing can get on top of her. She can even breathe at the bottom of the ocean. She can do things that are extraordinary and might seem impossible, or they might have seemed impossible. Maybe you guys have fears or things that you really don't enjoy doing. You might not like spiders. You might have issues with. We all have our own fears, and the idea of confronting these courageously and out in the open, bringing fears out in the open, means that we can overcome them. And actually, you might think this is a very babyish poem. I said that at the beginning when I read it to you first, and it appears to be a child's poem, but actually it has a message for all of us. We all, no matter what age we are, have fears about the life that is ahead of us because we don't know what the life is going to bring. And if we have, so people of my age have fears. We have children and people that we love in our families, and we fear anything bad happening to them. Everybody has fears, and this poem is trying to encourage us to face those fears and not be daunted by them. And so it's a very positive and hopeful poem. Right, that's enough of me for you today. So your tasks today are to make sure you've caught up, make sure you understand the features that I've spoken about to do with this poem, our poem Life Doesn't Frighten Me. And tomorrow I will give you an essay question that we will start to look at, which will be involved, which will mean looking at both poems and working out how the poets express the ideas that are in them. So for the rest of today, I want you to do the static image verbal features quiz, because as I said at the beginning, we've got 2 weeks to do our essay, to revise static image, to practice doing some comprehensions, and also to revise some Stand By Me scenes, and so that you can write an essay in your exam as well. Okay, have a great day, gentlemen. Bye.